Hi everyone, it's good to be back in your ears and it's good to be back on home turf. I'm not sure if you can hear the rain behind me, but I am in rainy, cold Melbourne after having had quite the trip to the States, as you've all heard about, as I have been hitting the mic along the way. If you've just joined us, well, this is our Parenthood on Tour series where I've just been talking to myself and all of you guys about my thoughts and happenings when it comes to my travels. And if you haven't already listened, there's a whole heap of episodes prior, which are solo eps about my travels to the US. I got back to Melbourne. And as usual, as soon as I landed, it took bloody 45 minutes to get my bags. Like, I do not understand how our airport seems to be. I mean, no offense to those who work in Melbourne Airport by any stretch. I'm sure you're doing the very best you can, but I just don't get it. Like, do we not have enough staff? You know, you come off a flight, you're exhausted. The last thing you want to do is stand there for 45 minutes. And I didn't even have children with me. I went on a solo trip. So yeah, I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, that is my other thought. Oh, and speaking of thoughts, to those of you who don't know, these episodes are unedited. So you really do get my raw thoughts as they come unedited. So yeah, I just wanted to check in basically and provide a little bit of an update as to how it was coming back home. It was really surreal. You know, when you come back to your home turf and back to your house and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I feel like the trip was almost like a dream, or like, yeah, it happened so long ago now, but it was only literally like 2 days ago. It was really great. Obviously, let's start with the kids. It was amazing to see the kids. They had actually done really, really well. So Jules, my husband, said that they didn't really tear up or cry at all. They seemed pretty sort of independent and capable during the time that I was away. I've got to wonder whether, you know, it's potentially because we did prepare them a lot for this trip. You know, we had things, and to those of you who have listened to the first episode of this on tour series, I do talk about the preparation we did, you know, things like, you know, mapping out on a calendar how many days I'd be away for, what the kids would be doing on those days. I was doing daily videos to them and made it really clear the expectations, I guess, around how long I was going to be away for. So I mean, not to say that you do all those things and you necessarily don't have a crying child, but in my case, I think Jules said that they were pretty good. And if anything, they saw me and they were like, "Oh, hi. So what'd you buy us?" You know, because I kept talking about that I was going to get them some special things from America, and they were pretty happy with their gifts. So yeah, and I also was nervous because the following day was our wedding anniversary, Jules and mine 5-year anniversary, and we'd organised for a babysitter to come and stay and put the kids to bed while we went to a restaurant to celebrate. And in the back of my mind, I thought, oh gosh, what if particularly the youngest, Charlie, finds, really struggles with the babysitter, because obviously mum's been away for so long, mum's back, is he going to freak out? There's a babysitter now, like what's going on? But they were really good. So I don't know, sometimes maybe we underestimate our children, or maybe I was just really lucky. And obviously shout out to Jules, who did an amazing job, in looking after the kiddos while I was away. But all in all, I think it went quite well. One thing that also it made me realize was, you know, my family's pretty capable without me. And I say that not to sound arrogant as though I didn't think they would be capable, but often, particularly as mums, I'm speaking to the mums listening in, we can often feel as though if things aren't done exactly the way that we like them to be done and in the way that we would do them, that everything's going to fall apart. And I say that because even today I literally just got off a plane and I've already gone to one of my favorite places in Melbourne from day one, which is an amazing, I guess, space for mothers to go to with their babies or toddlers. And they've got sort of mothers groups that are well organized. They've got masterclasses. I often speak at to the mothers groups about relationships and what the insights that I've received through the podcast and how we can sort of better ourselves and our relationships in the early years of parenting. It's an amazing space in Paran. So for those in Melbourne, if you haven't already, check it out, spread the word, because they're doing amazing things. But anyway, I was there earlier today and speaking to a group of mothers, and, one of them admitted, she said, look, I used to be a lawyer and now I've got my 6-month-old and I'm very vigilant and I'm very type A and I like things done a certain way. And I know I've got to let go more. Like, I know that if the sandwiches aren't cut in triangles and they were cut in squares, like, no one's going to die. Like, just let it go. But she goes, I just, and then she said, the thing I struggle with the most as well is that because I am quite capable, even though I feel like I'm drowning half the time, by the time, for example, my husband gets home from work, everything, like, kids are dressed, washed, food's on the table. And so, his perception of our reality is, oh, well, my wife's very capable and she's chilling, like killing it, happy days. But she goes, I know that I'm slowly drowning, and I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. And she said, I know I have to delegate more. And we've even spoken about splitting the tasks up at home, and, having, him be a bit more hands-on with some of the household chores. However, I end up just taking them over. We do that for like a day or two and then I just take over again because it's just easier. But I know that at the end of the day, it's going to be detrimental to my health, and ultimately our family dynamic, because I do often feel resentment building at times because I feel as though I'm doing all the things. So, I share that because it's such a common feeling, particularly from a lot of the mums that I've spoken to in the last 4 years of me doing this kind of work. And, I had a similar feeling. I'm about to leave. Are they going to be okay? Like, do they even know how to, I don't know, get up in the morning without me? Like, because I am very hands-on at home. And, don't get me wrong, there are a couple of older pieces of fruit in the fridge that I would have definitely thrown out, immediately, because I'm so, OCD when it comes to things like that. But, or there's, I don't know, I found a random spoon in the wrong drawer. That's probably playing up to this point a little bit. But the point is, yes, there were a few things that were in different spots or were done a little bit differently, but everyone survived. Everyone, still kicking it. Everyone's happy. It doesn't necessarily have to be our way or the highway. So I don't know. I say that for those of you listening in who maybe are fortunate to have a partner where there might be an opportunity to share a little bit more of the load. If that's possible, then perhaps us letting go of the reins, can be a smart way to give ourselves a bit of space, because fundamentally you can keep pushing on, but eventually something's going to give, and you don't want that to be your own mental health and your own sanity, down the track. So yeah, look, coming back to Melbourne, I obviously feel pretty rejuvenated, and even like the little things that felt like a bit of a drag before, now I'm kind of like excited to do. Now let's see how long that lasts for. But the point is, it was my very first opportunity to step away in the last 5.5 years since having children, for a decent amount of time, and sort of focus on something that was important to me. So yeah, I guess for the first time in, call it, nearly 6 years, I've had a little bit of a change of perspective. But also in a good way, in that I'm just sort of done compromising my own, self and self-care and exercise and things like that. And I'd love to sort of get back into the things that I know that are good for me. Again, I feel like this is just the cycle of life. Speak to me in 2 months and I'll probably be like, yeah, back to not running or back to not doing any physical exercise. But at least for now, the point is you're never going to be perfect, I say in talking marks. So the point is sometimes we just need like these little gentle reminders to kind of get us back on track, before we, just to get us going again and remotivated. So I am going to be taking a 2-week break from the pod. So for the next 2 weeks, you won't hear from us. As you know, we've been pumping out episodes twice a week. So a little bit of a break, and then I'm actually going to be taking my mic with me on our family holiday to Greece. So I'd love to just give you a few updates on the trip as they happen. All of this is very organic, so I don't really know what it's going to look like or how often I'll be checking in, but I'm just trying to go with it. I really love connecting with you all in this way, and the feedback has been really positive, and I think people like hearing in to seeing what's happening behind the scenes in the life of parenthood. So just trying to give it to you, as it happens, as real as possible. And then after my trip to Greece, we'll be recommencing our usual format. So we'll be bringing more real talk conversations with Liv back to the table, and also I'll be interviewing a few amazing guests who are happy to share their story too. So keep a listen out on that. Otherwise, for all the updates, we are very live on social media, particularly Instagram. So you can follow us at Parenthood Pod, and I'll pop those details in the show notes. It would be amazing if you haven't already, if you could please rate and review the podcast. The apps do favor podcasts with higher ratings and reviews, so would really, really appreciate you taking the time. And in the meantime, take care, and we'll be in touch. I'll catch you on the other side. Bye.